My beloved, pause for a moment. Breathe. Feel the quiet pull that brought you here. This is not an accident. This is not coincidence. Out of all the moments in your life, out of all the distractions surrounding you, you were guided to this very message now. The move has already started. The shift has already begun. And you, precious soul, are standing at the doorway of a new chapter whether you fully realize it yet or not. There has been a stirring in your spirit, a subtle restlessness, a whisper that says, "There is more." You tried to quiet it, you tried to explain it away. But it has remained, gentle, persistent, sacred. That whisper was not imagination, it was direction. You were seen long before you felt ready. You were chosen long before you believed you were capable. And now the currents of your life are changing beneath your feet. What once felt solid may feel uncertain. What once felt comfortable may now feel tight, restrictive. This is not chaos. It is movement. Receive this. You are not being pushed away from something. You are being drawn towards something. The move has started. Hold this in your heart. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are precisely on time. And where you are headed is not random. It is prepared. My dear one, think back to the small signs you brushed aside, the quiet moments when your chest tightened for no visible reason, the evenings when you stared at the ceiling, feeling that something in your life no longer fit. The subtle exhaustion that came not from your body, but from pretending you were satisfied. You felt it in conversations that suddenly felt hollow, in routines that once brought comfort, but now felt mechanical, in dreams that began surfacing again. Dreams you once silenced out of practicality. Those were not passing moods. They were inner signals. Your intuition has been gently tapping on the door of your awareness. Not loudly, not forcefully, just enough to make you pause, just enough to make you wonder. You sensed that a season was closing, even if the world around you continued as usual. You felt the invisible clock ticking toward change. And yet, part of you hesitated. Part of you thought, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I should just stay where I am. But precious soul, you are not overthinking. You are awakening. When something no longer aligns with your growth, your spirit begins to resist it. When you have outgrown a space, a mindset, a role, your inner world begins to shift first. The outer movement always follows the inner one. And that inner movement has already begun. Do not ignore this. Your restlessness is sacred. Your longing is intelligent. Your unease is not punishment. It is preparation. Something is shifting. You can feel it. And you are right. My beloved, there is more happening in your life than what your eyes can currently see. Beneath the surface of your ordinary days, beneath the routines and responsibilities, beneath the waiting and wondering, something quiet and deliberate is unfolding. You may not hear it loudly, you may not see dramatic evidence yet, but destiny rarely announces itself with noise. It works in subtle alignments, in small adjustments, in unseen preparations. While you questioned the delays, foundations were being strengthened. While you wondered why certain doors closed, better pathways were being cleared. While you felt forgotten in moments of silence, intricate pieces were being arranged. Nothing you have experienced has been wasted. The setbacks that frustrated you were not pointless. They were refining you. The redirections that confused you were not mistakes. They were protection and repositioning. Every time something did not go as planned, it quietly guided you closer to where you actually belong. There were desires you carried quietly in your heart. Hopes you barely admitted out loud. Perhaps you asked for clarity. Perhaps you longed for peace. Perhaps you wished for a life that felt more aligned, more authentic, more expansive. Even if you forgot those whispers, they were heard within the deeper current of your life. And now, that current is shifting. You may notice that certain things no longer hold your attention the way they once did. Conversations feel different. Priorities are rearranging themselves. Your tolerance for what drains you is lowering. Your awareness of what energizes you is increasing. This is not random dissatisfaction. This is alignment recalibrating. Behind what you call ordinary days, unseen threads are weaving together. People you have not yet met, opportunities you cannot yet imagine, insights forming quietly in your subconscious, timing aligning in ways too intricate for you to map out. Even your periods of stillness have had purpose. The waiting seasons were not empty. They were gestation. Growth beneath the soil, roots forming before visible expansion. You may have felt stagnant, but beneath that stillness, strength was developing. Discernment was sharpening. Patience was deepening. You were being prepared for something that requires this version of you, not the earlier one. If certain paths had opened too soon, you would have entered them without the clarity you now possess. If certain blessings had arrived earlier, you might not have had the confidence to sustain them. Timing has not been against you, it has been shaping you. There are alignments happening now that you cannot fully comprehend. A shift in perspective here. A new opportunity forming there. A subtle change in your energy that draws different experiences toward you. The movement is gentle, but it is real. You are being positioned. Even the challenges that tested you recently were not interruptions. They were adjustments. They revealed what no longer fits. They exposed what needs to be released. They clarified what truly matters to you. That clarity is not accidental. It is part of the orchestration. Trust that what feels uncertain is actually being arranged with precision. Trust that what appears delayed is often being perfected. Trust that what has not yet materialized is gathering the right conditions to unfold at the right moment. Destiny does not rush. It aligns. And right now, unseen forces within your life are aligning circumstances in your favor. Not necessarily in ways that match your old expectations, but in ways that match your evolved self. You are not drifting aimlessly. You are being guided through a carefully unfolding design. Even if you cannot yet see the full picture, know this: the hidden movement has already begun. The path is forming beneath your feet as you walk. The next chapter is drawing nearer with each quiet shift. Remain attentive. Remain open. Because what is unfolding now has your name written into its timing. Now, precious soul, you stand at a sacred threshold, a quiet but powerful turning point in your life. This moment may not look dramatic from the outside. The sky has not split open. The ground has not shaken. Yet inside you, something unmistakable is happening. A line has been drawn between who you have been and who you are becoming, and you can feel it. You are standing between comfort and expansion. Comfort whispers softly, "Stay here." You know this terrain. You know how to survive here. It may not thrill you, but it will not surprise you. Comfort feels warm, predictable, controlled. It asks very little of you. But growth calls you forward. Growth asks for courage. It asks you to trust what you cannot yet see. It asks you to release certainty in exchange for alignment. And here you are, feeling both voices at once. My dear one, this tension you feel is not confusion. It is awakening. You have outgrown the space you are standing in. Not because it was wrong, not because it failed you, but because you are no longer the same person who entered it. The dreams inside you are stretching. Your vision is widening, your spirit is pressing gently against the boundaries that once felt sufficient. If you ignore this turning point, life will not punish you, but it will begin to feel heavier. What once felt manageable will feel draining. What once felt neutral will feel constricting. Delaying your own evolution does not preserve peace, it slowly erodes it. You may be waiting for perfect clarity, for every detail to be mapped out, for guarantees. But this is not how transformation works. You are not meant to see the entire horizon. You are only meant to recognize the next step, and you already know it. It may be a conversation you need to have, a decision you need to make, a boundary you need to set, a risk you need to take, a place you need to leave, or even a version of yourself you need to release. You do not need applause to move forward. You do not need universal agreement. You only need alignment within your own heart. Fear will speak loudly at this threshold. It will show you worst-case scenarios. It will remind you of past disappointments. It will question your readiness. But growth speaks differently. Growth feels steady. It does not shout. It simply says, "You are capable." Listen carefully to which voice carries peace beneath it. The turning point you face is not about abandoning safety. It is about redefining it. True safety is not found in staying small. It is found in becoming whole. You are not being asked to leap blindly. You are being invited to step consciously. Trust that the discomfort you feel is not a warning to retreat. It is a signal that you are stretching beyond old limits. Muscles ache when they strengthen. Wings tremble before they learn to glide. And precious soul, you are learning to glide. This is your moment of quiet bravery, the kind that does not announce itself, the kind that happens in stillness, the kind where you look at your life and whisper, "I am ready for more." Why? Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if your mind tries to argue. You are not at this turning point by accident. You were prepared for it through every lesson, every delay, every closed door. Now the next door stands before you. It will not force itself open. It is waiting for your touch. Reach for it, and trust that you would not have been brought to this threshold if you were not meant to cross it. My beloved, every sacred transition asks something of you, not as a price, not as a punishment, but as preparation. Before you can fully step into where you are headed, there must be space within you to receive it, and space is not created by accident. It is created through release. You have been carrying things for a long time. Identities, expectations, disappointments, silent promises you made to survive. Some of these once protected you, some once defined you, some once felt necessary. But precious soul, survival is not the same as alignment. Protection is not the same as expansion. There are habits you formed in seasons of uncertainty, patterns that helped you cope, ways of thinking that kept you cautious, guarded, small enough to avoid risk. And those patterns served their purpose. Honor them for that, but do not cling to them beyond their season. You are not that same version of yourself anymore. There may be relationships in your life that feel heavier than they once did. Not because you lack love, not because anyone is evil, but because you are evolving at a different rhythm now. When you grow, the dynamics around you shift. Some connections deepen, others loosen naturally. Let what loosens, loosen. Do not force yourself to remain in spaces that no longer nourish you. Do not shrink your light to maintain comfort for others. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to outgrow roles that once felt permanent. This release is not about dramatic exits or harsh endings. It is about gentle detachment. It is about noticing what drains your spirit and choosing not to anchor yourself there anymore. It is about forgiving yourself for who you were when you did not yet know better. There may also be old stories you still carry, stories about your limitations, your mistakes, your perceived failures, stories that say, "This is just who I am." But my dear one, those stories were written in chapters of pain. They are not prophecies. They are not your lowest moment. You are not your past confusion. You are not the voice of doubt that sometimes echoes in your mind. Release the belief that you must struggle to deserve goodness. Release the belief that stability requires self-sacrifice. Release the belief that comfort equals destiny. When you release, you may feel temporary emptiness. A quiet space where something once lived. Do not rush to fill it. That space is sacred. That space is where clarity begins to bloom. Empty hands can finally receive. Open hearts can finally expand. Uncluttered minds can finally see. Think of this as clearing a room before new light enters. Dust may rise for a moment. Memories may surface. Emotions may stir. Let them move through you. Let them have their farewell. And then let them go. You are not losing parts of yourself. You are shedding layers that no longer reflect who you are becoming. This is refinement. This is alignment. This is preparation. Where you are headed requires a lighter spirit, a freer heart, a clearer vision. So release gently. Release consciously. Release without fear, because what is leaving your life now has completed its assignment, and what is coming will meet you with more space, more resonance, more truth. Make room, precious soul. Your next chapter is already drawing near. Precious soul, as you stand in this in-between space, know who you were, not yet fully where you are going. I want you to feel something deeply and without hesitation. You are not alone in this movement. Even in moments when the path feels quiet, even when no one around you seems to understand the shift happening inside you, even when you question whether you are imagining it all, you are being accompanied. There is a subtle intelligence guiding your steps. Think of the times in your life when you felt certain everything was falling apart, only to later realize it was falling into place. Think of the doors that closed that you once begged to remain open. Think of the redirections that felt like disappointments, but eventually revealed themselves as protection. You have been guided before, and you are being guided now. Protection does not always look like ease. Sometimes protection looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like discomfort that pushes you to reconsider. Sometimes it looks like a deep inner no that refuses to let you settle for less than alignment. When something is not meant for you, there is a resistance you can feel in your spirit, a heaviness, a misalignment, a draining sensation. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. And when something is meant for you, even if it stretches you, there is a strange calm beneath the nerves, a quiet steadiness that says, move forward. That steadiness is your inner compass. Your intuition is not random. It is not unreliable. It has been sharpening through every experience you have survived, through every lesson, through every mistake, through every moment you had to trust yourself when no one else could decide for you. The more you listen to it now, the clearer it becomes. You may notice small confirmations appearing around you, repeated themes, unexpected encouragement, conversations that echo what you have been privately feeling. You may feel sudden clarity during ordinary moments. You may sense a gentle nudge in a specific direction that refuses to fade. These are not coincidences. You are being steered with care. And even when you cannot see the full map, you are not walking blind. Protection surrounds you in ways you may never fully understand. Opportunities that never reached you because they would have drained you. Situations that dissolved before causing harm. People who drifted away because their season in your life had ended. What left was not always loss. Sometimes it was shielding. And as you move forward, you are not being sent out alone to figure everything out by yourself. Strength will rise when you need it. Clarity will come when it is time. Resources will appear when you are ready to use them. You do not need to force outcomes. You do not need to rush the unfolding. You only need to stay aligned with what feels honest and true within you. If anxiety tries to convince you that you are unsupported, pause. Breathe. Remember the evidence of your own survival. Remember how many times you thought you would not make it, and yet, here you are, still standing, still growing, still being guided. You are held even when you cannot feel the hands. You are directed even when the road bends. You are protected even when the wind shifts. So walk forward with trust, my dear one. Not reckless trust, but grounded trust. The kind that says, I may not know every detail, but I know I am not abandoned. Because you are not. You are watched over with care. You are guided with intention. You are protected with precision. And this move unfolding in your life is not happening without oversight. It is happening with purpose. My dear one, this movement in your life is not only about changing direction, it is about revealing who you truly are. For so long, you have lived according to roles. Roles shaped by expectation, roles shaped by the quiet need to be accepted, understood, or safe. You learned how to adapt. You learned how to endure. You learned how to become what was necessary in order to move through difficult seasons. And that adaptability is strength. Do not dismiss it. But now, precious soul, you are no longer in a season of mere endurance, you are in a season of emergence. There is a difference. Endurance asks, how do I get through this? Emergence asks, who am I becoming? You have grown in ways you rarely acknowledge. The challenges that once overwhelmed you would not shake you in the same way today. The uncertainty that once paralyzed you now invites reflection instead of panic. The opinions that once defined you now feel lighter, less controlling. This is evolution. You are not the timid version of yourself who doubted every instinct. You are not the fearful voice that told you to settle. You are not the old narrative that said you were limited, incapable, or unworthy of expansion. Those were shadows cast by circumstances. They were not your identity. Your true identity is quieter but stronger. It is steady. It does not beg for validation. It does not shrink in order to be comfortable for others. It does not apologize for wanting more alignment, more peace, more growth. You have survived disappointment. You have endured confusion. You have walked through moments where you felt unseen, and yet, here you stand, still open, still willing, still searching for deeper truth. That is resilience. Do you see it? You may have underestimated yourself because your strength does not always look dramatic. It does not always shout. It does not always demand attention. But it is there in the way you keep rising after setbacks. It is there in the way you reflect instead of harden. It is there in the way you continue to hope, even after delays. You are far more prepared for this next chapter than you believe. The move that has begun is not stretching you beyond your capacity. It is stretching you into it. Into your confidence. Into your clarity. Into your authority over your own life. You are allowed to take up space now. You are allowed to redefine your path without guilt. The identity awakening within you is not loud arrogance, it is grounded self-recognition. It is the quiet realization that you do not need permission to grow. You are not becoming someone else. You are uncovering the version of you that was always there, beneath fear, beneath doubt, beneath conditioning. And as you step forward, you will notice subtle shifts. You will speak with more certainty. You will choose with more discernment. You will walk away from what diminishes you, without endless explanation. That is not coldness. That is self-respect. You are stepping into a fuller version of yourself. One who understands that destiny is not about chasing validation but embodying authenticity. Stand taller in your spirit. Own your growth. Trust your expansion. You are not fragile in this transition. You are forming into something steadier than before. And where you are headed will require this awakened identity, this grounded confidence, this quiet strength, this inner clarity. You are not becoming powerful. You are remembering that you already are. Let that remembrance guide you. Let it anchor you. Let it carry you forward. And now, precious soul, let everything settle. Feel your breath again. Slow, steady, present. You have traveled through this message, not by accident, but by alignment. Something within you recognized these words before your mind fully understood them. Something within you knew that this was meant to find you now, in this exact season, in this exact state of becoming. The move has started, not with chaos, not with force, but with awareness, and awareness is the beginning of all transformation. You do not need to rush from this moment into action. Let it integrate. Let it sink into the quiet places of your heart. Change that lasts is not frantic. It is intentional. It is steady. It is rooted in clarity. You are stepping into a new chapter not because you were lacking, but because you are ready. Ready for deeper alignment. Ready for spaces that reflect your growth. Ready for relations, IPS, opportunities and environments that resonate with who you are now. Trust that timing is unfolding with intelligence. If doubt visits you later, and it may, do not panic. Doubt is simply the mind trying to protect you from the unknown. Greet it gently, then return to what you felt here. The calm recognition that something is shifting in your favor. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not wandering without direction. You are in transition, and transitions are sacred. They feel uncertain, because the old has loosened its grip while the new has not yet fully formed. But this in-between space is not emptiness, it is construction. Foundations are being set beneath your awareness. Pieces are aligning beyond your sight. Hold this truth close when impatience tries to rush you. Walk forward with soft courage, not loud declarations, not forced leaps, just honest steps. One at a time. Decisions rooted in clarity rather than fear. Choices rooted in alignment rather than obligation. You are safe to trust yourself. You are safe to release what no longer fits. You are safe to believe that better alignment awaits you. Receive this blessing, my beloved. May your path unfold with clarity. May your heart remain steady in moments of uncertainty. May your intuition grow sharper with every step. May peace accompany you, even when the road curves. May you recognize opportunities meant for you without chasing what is not. Let courage rise gently within you, not as pressure, but as quiet strength. Let faith settle into your chest, not as blind hope, but as grounded trust in your own evolution. Stay with this message when old fears try to return. Hold it in your heart when familiar doubts whisper. Remember that movement does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like subtle confidence. Sometimes it feels like releasing a deep breath you did not realize you were holding. The move has started. And you are not being pushed into uncertainty. You are being guided into alignment. Walk forward, knowing you are seen. Walk forward, knowing you are supported. Walk forward knowing that what awaits you is not random, it reflects the growth you have earned, the strength you have cultivated, the identity you are awakening into. Go gently, go confidently. Go knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, on the threshold of something that matches who you are becoming. And as you move, may peace guard your heart, clarity light your path, and courage steady your steps. You are ready, and you are not alone.